This week at Interior. Following an executive order issued by President Trump, Secretary Burgum signed a secretary's order renaming the Anahuac National Wildlife Refuge in Texas to the Jocelyn Nungaray National Wildlife Refuge. The renaming honors 12-year-old Jocelyn Nungaray, who was murdered by illegal immigrants in North Houston, Texas in June 2024. Secretary Burgum said the president's dedication ensures her name will always be remembered. This refuge, where life flourishes, will stand as a lasting tribute to her memory, a place of reflection, and a call to action to protect our children and uphold justice. Secretary Burgum traveled to Houston this week to take part in the Cambridge Energy Research Associates annual executive conference known as CERAWeek. The conference brings together executives, government officials, and thought leaders from the energy, policy, technology, and financial industries to discuss and develop solutions for the future of energy, the environment, and climate. The Secretary hailed the excitement and enthusiasm for American energy dominance he found at CERA as the nation redoubles its mining efforts and offshore energy development. Interior this week announced the approval of a federal mining plan modification by the Office of Surface Mining Reclamation and Enforcement for the Spring Creek Mine in Bighorn County, Montana, operated by the Navajo Transitional Energy Company. This decision extends the mine's operational life by 16 years, enabling the production of approximately 39.9 million tons of federal coal and supporting 280 full-time jobs. The Bureau of Land Management this week approved the Sapphire Gentai Transmission Line and Facilities Project on approximately 40 acres of public lands in eastern Riverside County, California. The line will connect the planned Sapphire Solar Photovoltaic and Storage Facility on private lands to the electric grid. Once operational, the project will transmit and store up to 117 megawatts of solar energy daily. The U.S. Geological Survey this week released projections for world production capacity for 7 critical minerals and helium for the next 5 years in the first World Minerals Outlook, part of a larger effort to provide forecasts and scenarios for global mineral supply chains. Among the findings, the world's capacity to produce cobalt and lithium, 2 elements critical to the batteries used to power mobile devices, tools, and vehicles, is expected to double over the next 5 years. See the full report at usgs.gov. The work continues at the Tidal Basin Seawall Rehabilitation Project in Washington, D.C., funded by the Great American Outdoors Act. Since August, hundreds of pilings have been driven into place and capped to raise the level of the seawall and prevent flooding, part of the $113 million project scheduled to wrap up next year. The National Park Service has worked hard to minimize the effect on cherry blossom season, now just weeks away.
There will be some impact to this year's cherry blossom season. We did have to take down about 148 of the cherry trees, but there are still more than 2,500 cherry trees around the tidal basin. All the walkways are open, all the roads are open, so still plenty of good opportunity to come down and celebrate spring in the nation's capital.
The National Wildlife Refuge System turns 122 years old this week. On March 14, 1903, President Theodore Roosevelt set aside tiny Pelican Island in Florida for the protection of pelicans and other birds. Today, there are more than 550 refuges across the country, providing space for wildlife and places for all Americans to recreate and reconnect with the great outdoors. And our social media picture of the week, these yellow-headed blackbirds just hanging out at Wyoming's Cokeville Meadows National Wildlife Refuge. Yellowheads typically winter in the southwest United States and Mexico, then head back north for springtime breeding in noisy colonies across the West and Midwest. Make sure you follow us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and X. That's This Week at Interior.